Guys, welcome! I'm in a Renault Dauphine. I mean, it looks like a Renault Dauphine, but maybe you're missing the sound of a 4-cylinder Venturi engine in the back. But what you hear, well, is a electric noise, because I'm in a electric car. It's a Henney Kilowatt. So this is the shell of a Renault Dauphine with a electric heart. And well, we have to talk about this car because it's really rather interesting. Well, it is very slow, by the way. There is no power, but we know this was built for the city. This was projected as the second car. So beside your massive V8, you could have your small Henney Kilowatt and do all sorts of shopping in the dense American cities. And this is one of the very few that still exists. Numbers vary between, I think, 4 and 7. 4 and 5, I don't know, not so many have survived. So in this video, I will show you the car inside, I will show the car outside, and I will show you how this car operates, which is fairly easy. So I'm now at the PS-Speicher's microcar collection, and part of the microcar collection is a very interesting collection of old and rather quirky electric cars from the past, because, you know, back in the days there was far more than the internal combustion engine. Especially in the US, there were quite a lot cars with electric engines, such as the Baker or this 1918 Detroit electric. And you know what? It's a fun car. It's actually running and driving, because chaps here at the PS-Speicher know what they do, and it's really interesting to get inside of it, because, you know, the idea of a car like we have it today was very different back in the early days of motoring. Just have a look inside of it. I think we need some more light. Well, there we have it. It just feels like sitting in a horseless carriage, or in grandma's and granddad's living room. It's all very interesting. Just have a look at it, how you would operate the car. You have we have 2 pedals down there, and then we have these levers, and I'm pretty sure this is for steering. This might be, or it is for steering, and this here is for something else, but I'm sure I will show you anytime soon how this all goes. There we have the volts and the amperes. What do we have here? I don't know, but there we have a nice little clock, and of course we are in a cozy living room. We have a nice set of flowers. So it is just have a look at these interior lights. Isn't that amazing? Lovely. Okay, let's get out of this amazing cars, and well, as a contrast, so we had the electric car, the Detroit, but roughly at the same time, of course, we had steam cars, such as this steamer. It's a Stanley steamer. Stanley steamer, I think it's the, well, there you go. It's the Priscilla, born in 1911, and that was a whole different story. First of all, it was very close to the modern car we know today, because it had a steering wheel and had much more. So all kinds of levers, buttons, well, you name it, to operate the car. I think best way to drive it is with with 2 persons. One is operating all the things steam, and the other the steering wheel. More vintage electric cars. Another Detroit electric, open top, and this is not a Detroit. It looks almost the same, but this is a Rauch and lang. And it's really quite interesting. So around 1900, 1904, I think so there we have a Rauch and Lang. Looks pretty much like the Detroit Electric. Also, let's have a quick look inside of this. Looks pretty much the same. So it's very far away from what we know today. And there we have, again, I think that is the steering and all the stuff to operate the car. So this is as close as can get to a actual horseless carriage. Much more to see, because here we have another favorite of mine, the whole PS-Speicher collection. You know what that is? It's Zagato. It's a proper Zagato design. There we have the Zagato Milano badge, and this was the Zagato Seele, a city car made by Zagato in the early 70s, roughly 5 PS, I guess. And it's all very light, very nimble, small steering wheel, small bench here, and that's it. I mean, for the dense city, it's all you need. The same, but much older, is the biplace electric from 1941. So here, let's have a quick look inside of it, and let's go and explore some more. We have a Otis Mailvan. It's all electric. Then we have the Morrison electric car, and this was a milk float. So there you got your fresh milk in the morning, and we go back in time to the year 1923, Hansa Lloyd DL5 electric truck, and these were all the batteries right here. There you go. Batteries, but luckily we have a trailer, and on the trailer a Kilowatt, Henney Kilowatt, and this is actually the Model B. I'm driving today the Model A, and the B had a slightly larger battery pack. Another time travel, Peugeot 106 electric or hybrid, I'm not sure. I will correct myself here. This is where the party goes. I think this is a proper electric car. Then we have some research vehicles from the University of Aachen, and one other favorite of mine, the Enfield E8000, UK-built electric car for the city. And I think this is a fantastic looking small car. What do you think? Let me know. I love the curvature of this massive front window. And when we look inside of it, we actually find some parts of other cars from the UK from that time. By the way, these are the typical British Leyland door handles. Other than that, it's pretty well done. So it looks like a proper car. There you go, spare wheel at the back. I'd love to drive this, but I think it's not driving at the moment. This is the car from the back. Drives electric. This is what it proudly says. I think the wheels are from a good old Mini. That's what I think. And there we have a Peel. Well, of course, it's not the original Peel from the Isle of Man. This is a electric Peel. And just beside the Peel, and just look at it. I mean, the Ligier is a tiny car, but it looks rather massive in contrast to the good old Peel. And Well, Ligier is one of the most well-known French microcar producers. The car without a permit, what is it, sans permis? Can't remember that now. Folks from French will tell me. So the microcar has a whole other story in France than it had in other countries, because I think it was the véhicule sans permis, something like that. So cars without the need of a driving license. This is a car I actually know from traffic. It's the City L, built in Denmark. So it's a one-person car. I'm not sure if it's a car or if it's a bicycle. It's a tricycle. Anyway, sort of like this. Just look at the position of the radio. So it screams a little bit Citroën, but only a little bit. And just beside the City L, we have, it's a German car. Because it's German, it's called the Hotzenblitz. Yep, Hotzenblitz. That was a project for a small electric city car made in Germany in the Schwarzwald region. Unfortunately, that was not a success, but I think these are pretty neat looking cars. Really like them. And there we have, another, let's travel in time, the Renault Dauphine. And then we have a electric converted Fiat Panda. The conversion was made by a Swiss company called Larel. There we have the electric engine, there, just down below. Then a Sebring Vanguard city car, fairly successful, built in the USA. More than, I think, 4,000 of these have been sold in the end. Quirky looking things. Where I live, there's a scrapyard, and I think they have one. Somewhere at the scrapyard, they have one of these city cars. Of course, it's all made of plastic, but what I love, let's make some light, the wood veneer on the whole dashboard, and also it's easy to operate. We have forward, we have reverse, and you know what? That's it. And let's go a little further. The Golf Citystromer. The Citystromer was the electric version of the Golf, Mark 1, Mark 2, which is this, and the Mark 3. And I think, I'm not sure, they stopped the Citystromer project after the Golf Mark 2. Only very few of these have been made, and in my region, which is stunning, there are, I think, 3 of these. 2 here at the PS-Speicher collection and 1 on the road, and this had its former life in Sweden, hence the Swedish plates, and there we have the Citystromer badges and all these cool decals. And an elbil från, this means an electric car from Gator och grönt. I don't know, this is and this is green, I guess. Spar miljön, this is, my Swedish ends exactly here, even I speak Danish. So, what do we have here? This is actually running, and this is the Hotjeb Penguin, built in 1991. Then we have this awesome looking, is it like a taxi kind of thing, like an electric rickshaw? It looks absolutely stunning and lovely and fun. So this is a Turinelli 89, built in 67, and we end a little walkthrough with an AC. What is it? Mark 4. This is actually a version with a electric engine, and yes, it's AC from Cobra fame. But this is the other end of the scale, of course. You know what? 2 horses, 2 horsepower. Let's have a look inside. We have no steering wheel. We have a thing that operates the whole car, and it is a 1-seater with, well, maybe for 2 persons. I don't know. This is interesting. Can you see this? Not sure if I want to sit there just, you know. Anyway, and the last car I show you here is the Mini Comtesse, and this is the electric version of this small 3-wheeler made in France, still with a period sticker here. Yeah, so some electric cars, you see, these can be huge fun. I'm actually bored about all the hate when it's about electric cars, especially in the classic car community, because it has always been part of the automotive world, and these can be much fun. So let's explore the Henney Kilowatt. Now, to understand the Henney Kilowatt, we have to travel back in time to the 1950s and 1960s. So, well, basically all the European car manufacturers tried to sell their cars also in the US, and well, the European car was effectively the small car, and well, only the Beetle was successful. Renault, for example, tried to sell their lovely looking and also rear-engined Renault Dauphine in the US, but you know what? Not successful. And not surprising. So no one wanted the little Dauphine, and well, Renault pulled out of the American market. Well, made some interesting attempts many years later with AMC, but well, for the 50s and 60s it was all over. But the Renault Dauphine, well, aroused some interest, and that interest came together with the electric motor. So there was a chap called Russell Feldman, and he was president of a company called the National Union Electric Corporation. And you know, they were building, well, the well-known Excite batteries. You can still buy Excite batteries today. I think they also made vacuum cleaners and stuff like that, all of course with Excite batteries. But what Feldman also had was a coach-built company called Henney. And well, you know what? There we have the Henney badge here at the car. And well, Henney did all the typical coach work, stuff like hearses, ambulances, all based on, well, large American cars. I think mostly based on Oldsmobiles. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm wrong. So, well, the idea came into play, well, just let's make an electric car. And in order to do so, they needed something light, something small, just as the Renault Dauphine. And because the Renault Dauphine had a rear engine layout, it was always perfect to find a place for the electric motor. So the story goes as follows. Feldman ordered, and numbers vary, between 100 and 250 Renault Dauphine shells without engine, and I think, well, of course, without drivetrain. So between 100 and 250, I'd say it was maybe 100. And that's why outside and inside it is pretty much a Renault Dauphine. There's one small detail though. So usually the Dauphine had an air intake just right here, and well, this is obscured now by some sort of very fine mesh piece of trim. So that is closed. But you know, this is all. Other than that, it's a Renault Dauphine. Of course, a Renault Dauphine with the typical US spec things. So I think, well, the Dauphine experts might kill me, but I think this is a typical US market feature. Okay, let's explore what's different. Quite a lot. So let's open the, well, in modern days you would say it's the frunk, isn't it? So let's open it. We have a lever right here. Oopsala! And let's open it. And what to see here is a, well, it's a massive battery pack. So there were 6 batteries here in the in the frunk, and there was another battery pack just right here at the back. Let's open the back. Upsala. There you go. So we have 6 batteries in the back, and we have another 6 batteries in the front. The electric motor is somewhere right there. I think you can see some of all the relays and stuff like that there behind the batteries. By the way, these are the fuses. These are absolutely massive. We have them here at the front as well. This battery, so 6 batteries in the front, 6 batteries in the back, and then we have another battery for all the auxiliary things, like, you know, the lights, indicators, stuff like that. Not much else. So there's no radio, well, no nothing. So the engine originally was a General Electric, and now listen, 5BT1344810. That was the electric motor, and now we come to the horsepower this had. 7.1. 7.1, and this is exactly how this car drives, but yet I think it's absolutely exciting. You may hear me drowning in excitement because I think it's a cool car. So where to charge? Well, right here. So the Henney Kilowatt came with a, well, it was a much longer cable than we have right now here in this car. So I think let's close all the, well, all the bonnets, I don't know, at the front, at the back, and then we have a look inside of it. And you know, I will show you how the Henney Kilowatt operates. Okay, now for a minute, just have a look at this well, almost regular Renault Dauphine. So you can see all the differences. Of course, you wouldn't find any batteries in here apart from the auxiliary battery right there. We have a spare wheel right there in the frunk. Inside, it's pretty much the same as in the Henney, apart from the rear bench, of course. Then we have the air intake right here. We have that on the Henney, and of course, and most obvious, the Vent 2 engine here at the back of the car. So just a quick look at the Dauphine, and now we go back to the Henney. Okay, all possible bonnets, lids, whatever you call it, are closed now, and now we have a look inside of this lovely Henney Kilowatt. It's all very, very red. The Henney Kilowatt was only available in red, in grey, and I think in black. And that was it all. And inside, it's all very red too. So we have, of course, lovely quarter lights. If you follow my channel, my YouTube here, which you should, you know that I absolutely love quarter lights because most effective AC in this world. But exciting stuff to see. So we have 2 pedals, gas, let's say power, and brake. That's it. This is here for the bonnet. This is something I don't know, but it's red, so I will not operate it. Then we have, you know what? I don't know. I haven't properly asked what this is for. This could be the indicator or something. Well, or maybe the wipers. We will find out. We will find out. So, okay. Lovely red interior, and this is super interesting. So this is sort of the main panel. So this shows the amperes and the DC volts, and then we have this. This is something I absolutely love. So how to operate the Henney Kilowatt? Well, you have it in neutral, then you have ref and forward, and you know, that's it. That's it, all you need. Of course, you can see here all the General Electric logo inside the gauges. And then we have, of course, the original Jaeger tachometer. Sorry. This is, of course, in miles per hour. And this looks as this was written by hand. Not sure about that. Top speed. Well, I drove not faster than something between 30 and 40 miles. Then we have a charge gauge. That is right here. So there it says gasoline, and also I think it's handwritten, charge. Then we have an oil gauge and, well, temperature. Of course, we do not have any oil. 996 miles. That is not much, but as said, it's not made for the longer road, for the longer drive. Now, you know what? 7.1 horsepower, and it's just enough for the car and 2 people, because you know what? We have no rear bench. So the rear bench had to go. When you lift that, there are all the well, you know, behind this black panel there is the electric motor, and well, you have plenty of space for, well, not your luggage, but you have plenty of space for, well, all the stuff you took from, well, you were shopping. Lovely Kilowatt badge. This is something I absolutely like about this car. So some other details. So I already showed you, we have some quarter lights here. So we have a very effective AC, and here at the back also, just look at the door handles. Let's open the rear door. Interestingly, it has sliding windows at the back, and there you go. There it's open and closed, but as there are no passengers at the rear, well, you will definitely not need them. Well, so this is the Henney Kilowatt. A very, very cool electric car from the 1950s, 1960s. I will tell you a bit more about this car's history up next. But what I'm going to show you now, well, how to drive the Henney Kilowatt. Okay, now let's see how to operate a Henney Kilowatt. Fairly easy. You don't need more than 2 brain cells. And the first thing you do is you set the hoops. I lost a part of the key. Sorry guys, here at the PS-Speicher. So there you go. You could already hear some of the relays there at the back. And now we put the car in forward and we push the pedal, you know, and there we go. Okay, let's go for a final drive in the Henney. Closing the window here so we're not facing any wind noise. Setting ignition off. Well, engine's on, I guess. Then we put it here on the panel, this small button here. I'm not sure if you can see it. There it is. Again, We put that into rev, and then the car should move backwards. There we go. I think the sound is sensational. The the whole absence of sound, where you can see the electric motor sort of clicking in the back. Not sure if you can hear all this. So, was the Henney Kilowatt successful? Well, of course, well, it wasn't. I think in the end only about 47 have been built, and the major part of the production went to the company of Feldman. There were, though, a small batch of cars went into private hands, but yeah, Feldman even tried to sell the car by some sort of subscription, but nothing worked. Even the Model B had a larger battery pack. I think it had like 14 batteries and up to 80 kilometers to drive with it, but in the end it didn't work out. So I said this is the smaller Henney Kilowatt. So the Henney Kilowatt did not sold well. It cost a lot of money because production cost was insane. It cost around $3,900, almost the double of your usual Renault Dauphine. And well, what you've got was a painfully slow car with a very questionable charging infrastructure. Because to some extent, same problems as we have today, but to some extent. So 47 of these have been produced, and I think 35 were part of Feldman's company, and some other cars went into private hands, and only a few exist today. So interesting bit of history is that the remaining cars were stored for almost 15 years, maybe somewhere in Bloomington, where this was built and produced. And a chap called Wifkoff, he heard about these cars, bought them straight away out of the shed, and he sold these cars again with their electric drive units, but these cars got a new name, and these were sold as the Tiffany Mark V. Tiffany Mark V, that raises the question if there were more, like a Mark IV, Mark III, Mark II, Mark I. I highly doubt that. So, many years later, there was another electric car made in the US based on a Renault. There was a small company, and they were making the Mars. I think the Mars 2, and that was based on a Renault 10. But now driving the Henney Kilowatt is not spectacular. So I'm now outside of Einbeck, and I'm driving around 35 kilometers per hour, or miles. I'm not sure. I think it says miles. So it's very slow. There is some traffic behind me, wondering what's going on in front of them. So I think the most fun part is, when you drive a classic car like this in the city, and people, they accept some good old engine noise, and then they just hear this this electric motor in the back of this car. So the sound the sound is amazing, because it's so unusual, because you just expect something different when you sit in a car like that. So let's go this way and enjoy the sound of the Henney Kilowatt for a minute. So this was my little video about the Henney Kilowatt electric car from the 1960s. I had a blast with it. So it is one of the smallest and yet most exciting cars I've driven in a while. Well, do me a favor, if you like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel. That would help me a lot. You can also follow me on Instagram and, you know, visit the PS-Speicher because there are more exciting stuff to see. So take care, bye bye.